Here in Colorado, we are required to give disclosure of our working relationship to buyers before we show them houses or receive any confidential information. And so what does that really mean? In Colorado, we can work with a home buyer a number of ways. First, and the way I normally work with home buyers is I represent them as an agent. I'm a fiduciary for them. I'm on their side. I can't be on the side of the seller and the buyer. I'm only on the side of the buyer. I have their best interests in mind, and I'm going to seek a contract that best suits them and their needs. That's an agent. There's also a transaction broker. With a transaction broker, I can be a transaction broker for the seller and the buyer. Usually the only time this actually makes sense for most agents is if, one, the buyer just does not want to sign an agreement and be tied to you, which is understandable. If that's the case, a transaction broker is something you can do. Or usually the ones I use transaction broker with is when I'm the listing agent of a property that they want to buy. Because I can't be an agent for both, I'll be a transaction broker. And a transaction broker is more like a referee of a basketball game. I'm not on either side. I'm just going to help both sides play the game, know the rules, understand what's going on, communicate the details, and then let them make decisions for their own. Now, the third way that you can work with a buyer is as a customer. Now, a customer, you have absolutely no contractual relationship, no obligation to a customer. They're on their own. I just act as a scrivener. And a scrivener is just somebody that's just going to write stuff in. And so if I have somebody that's not represented come and they say, hey, I want to put an offer on one of my listings, and I have a good relationship with those sellers, and I really am loyal to them, then I will treat the buyer as a customer. I will say, okay, buyer, what do you want to offer? What terms do you want? What do you want here? I'll write all that stuff in. I'll present it to my sellers, and then I'll coach my sellers. Be like, sellers, here's the offer. Here's what they're offering you guys. Here's what I recommend. I can't give advice to a customer. They are on their own, but I can facilitate a transaction with them if that's what is needed. That is the disclosure that is required here in Colorado so that buyers know how I can work with them and the options that they have, and they can choose what best suits them.